They just gave us a massive warning. It's time to buckle up. Our lives are never going to be the same.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I've been gonna beam and I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their room. And I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey, know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. I'm just going to dive in today. My name is Coach JV, and I'm here to present to you facts, figures, numbers, logic. If you know me and you've been watching me, my human design, I'm a peer generator. I use my logical circuit, and I've been studying this for years. I started studying while I was in the banking system for over 10 years, went to CBA Executive Banking School, and I started to see historical patterns that were happening over and over again in our financial system. And I'm here to tell you right now, what I'm about to present to you guys, I am not a financial expert. I'm not a financial advisor. What I am is someone who studies this methodically every single day and devotes my life to research around economic cycles, macro and micro. And what I'm here to tell you is we're about to have the biggest economic collapse in our financial history. Now, here's the good news, is we have been preparing ourselves since 2020 for this moment in time, and we have set ourselves up for the greatest time in human history because wealth is built in bear markets. It's when the normal everyday person gets access to very low prices in true intrinsic value companies. You should be reading the book Intelligent Investor and understanding that when bull markets come, when everybody's excited, that's when everybody gets wrecked. You watched it happen yourself. And that's why our warriors are calm, poised, and positioned for this moment in time. If you want to join the 3T Warrior Academy, dive in today, 3twarrioracademy.com. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is the IMF now is warning you that a massive recession is coming like no other. And I'm going to show you the housing market. Now, I'm not a housing expert, but I do have experts are surrounded around me, okay? The things that I'm an expert in is, I would say, cryptocurrency, business, okay? I have leveraged life insurance. I'm not an expert in leveraged life insurance, but the way I'm set up is cryptocurrency, business, diversified in crypto, diversified in business, leveraged life insurance, precious metals. I'll be getting into gold this year. I'm in silver right now. And then I'll be getting into real estate on the back end of the year. So I'm obsessively studying real estate now. And I seek wise counsel. So we have experts in our academy who are sharing with me that Q3, Q4, last year, they were sharing with me that this year is going to be the pullback. And based on my knowledge and understanding of debt cycles, I think they're right. And here's why. So when you put too much debt in the system, okay, let's talk about this. Debt basically in America is someone else's salary. We're in a debt-based system. Since they detached from the gold standard in 1971, every single dollar in America is someone else's debt. Well, we're in a low interest rate environment for a very, very long time, fam. And debt was very, very cheap. Well, the Feds told you, Jerome Powell, we're actually going to watch the video so you can see it yourself and make an informed decision based on what they're saying. Is basically the Feds have kept the rates super, super low for a very, very long time. That means it's very cheap to borrow money. So when it's cheap to borrow money, it's very easy to grow. You're borrowing against your future self, whether you're a company or an individual. For example, if you make $100,000 a year and you can borrow $30,000 at 2% interest, you now increased your salary by $130,000. Okay. But you're borrowing against your future self. So when you hit a point like a debt bubble that we're in right now, where we've over leveraged as a country, we're over leveraged as human beings, everybody's over leveraged, something has to fall and the collapse is here. So what they're doing is they're smashing interest rates through the roof to cool down inflation down to 2%. And what that's going to do, it's going to crush the middle class. It's going to crush companies, and it's going to show you which companies are real, true value companies. Okay. But the IMF now is, they don't hide it from you. They're putting it in plain sight. The IMF warns of a tough year ahead, the world economy citing slowdown in the United States, European Union, and China, three of the biggest economies. The International Monetary Fund has warned that 2023 will be a tougher year than most for the world economy because US, EU, China's economies are all slowing down simultaneously. We expect 1/3 of the world's economy to be in a recession. Even countries that are not in a recession, it would feel like a recession for hundreds of millions, says IMF chief Christina Georgievina, excuse me. We've shown you guys many videos from her. The IMF, World Economic Forum. This is what we see for 2023. For most of the world's economy, this is going to be the toughest, or a tough year, excuse me, tougher than the year we left behind. Why? Because there's three big economies, US, European Union, and China, all slowing down simultaneously. And some of the biggest countries with the biggest GDP. Okay, they're telling you what is happening. So let's watch this. This is not very exciting, but this is, from PBS, I guess, 3.4 million subscribers, and the things going on. I'm not going to give anybody any more attention, but think about what's happening right now and what people are focused on. This has freaking, excuse my like freaking, that's not a bad word, 16,000 views. This is what we should be watching. Okay, we're going to listen to the first 4 minutes of his speech. So IMF is warning us the biggest recession is coming. Okay. But that's the thing, fam. I paid off all worldly debt. I'm accumulating cash, waiting for this big dip. Okay. You're going to have true intrinsic value companies sitting on sale. Okay. Whether that's the stock market or whether that's crypto coins that have real world solve and fundamentals, ISO 20002 tokens, things like that, that are going to change the world. So you have to get your frivolous spending all under control. Get some cash on the sidelines. So let's listen to what Jerome Powell has to say about the economy. This was on, what's the date of this? 2 weeks ago. Okay. This is his. They're basically going to smash the Fed rate.
Our decisions will depend on the stance of monetary policy. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our rapid tightening so far are yet to be felt. Even so, we have.
So he just said we've covered a lot of ground so far, and the effects of a rapid tightening, I told you guys last year, Q2, Q3, have not been felt yet. So the rapid tightening last year has not been felt. IMF just warned you. He just warned you. The tightening is about to smash the economy in 2023.
More work to do. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve and serves as the bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy doesn't work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. Today, the FOMC raised our policy interest rate by 0.5 percentage point. We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time.
Okay, so he just said, he told you, we're not slowing down interest rates. We're not slowing down interest rates. So the higher interest rates go, the dollar's value goes up. It crushes other countries' economies, and the middle class, hardworking individuals in the industry get smashed because it's hard to borrow money. It's hard to buy houses. Everybody's leveraged in debt. The consumer price index or the consumer credit index is going through the roof. America's debt to income ratio is 124%. China, EU, and America, the top economies, are in trouble.
In addition, we're continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. I'll have more to say about today's monetary policy actions after briefly reviewing economic developments. The U.S. economy has slowed significantly from last year's rapid pace. Although real GDP rose at a pace of 2.9% last quarter, it is roughly unchanged through the first 3 quarters of this year. Recent indicators point to modest growth of spending and production this quarter. Growth in consumer spending has slowed from last year's rapid pace, in part reflecting lower real disposable income and tighter financial conditions.
Okay, so what happened there is in 2020, they turned the printing machine on, 2021, and they turned it off in 2022. So we're seeing the bleeding of Americans' bank accounts, the EU, China, probably all over the world, the bleeding of their savings accounts now, and someone who's making $150,000 a year is starting to live paycheck to paycheck. So we're one hiccup away from the collapse of the monetary system.
Activity in the housing sector has weakened significantly, largely reflecting higher mortgage rates. Higher interest rates and slower output growth also appear to be weighing on business fixed investment. As shown in our summary of economic projections, the median projection for real GDP growth stands at just 0.5% this year and next, well below the median estimate of the longer run normal growth rate. Despite the slowdown in growth, the labor market remains extremely tight, with the unemployment rate near a 50-year low, job vacancies still very high, and wage growth elevated. Job gains have been robust, with employment rising by an average of 272,000 jobs per month over the last 3 months.
Okay, so this is just where they're trying to convince you that everything's going to be okay. We got the gist of it, right? He said the interest rates are going up. The housing market is struggling now. And so that's what we're going to dive into a little bit deeper today. Again, I'm not a housing expert. So if you are a housing expert, comment down below. I've heard housing experts say there's not going to be a pullback, but I don't see from a macro and microeconomic level and a recession level how there will not be a pullback in housing prices. The massive amount of printing and money always raise asset prices. We had a huge bubble of houses skyrocketing in Arizona. They went up like 30%. So I feel like they're going to come down 20-30%, right? So these homes that I'm looking at now that were $300,000, $340,000 are sitting at $600,000 right now, but they're slowly coming down. And so from what I've heard, there's going to be maybe a 20 to 30% pullback by the Q3, Q4 2023. So if you're looking to get into the housing market, it might be a good time. The thing you're going to struggle with is higher interest rates, okay? So here's another thing that people are not paying attention to is companies like Open Door CEO promises second act after housing market stumbles. The company starts a new buying and selling service in a bid for growth in a volatile economy. So they're throwing out Hail Marys trying to survive these open door business models that they had. They were this is where my brain is thinking of this stuff. Okay. So the real estate market slowdown is happening because of interest rates, right? Also, the housing market kind of had a bubble. All this money was being printed. They stopped the printing machine. Interest rates are going up. The economy is in a freaking tailspin right now. So people aren't thinking about going out and buying a home right now. So the prices are holding. But then when people realize, oh shit, nobody's going to be able to buy my house, and the prices are so inflated that they start bringing it down because they bought it at a lower price. And so their profit margin is massive. So they'll start to decrease what they're going to gain in their profit, or they're just going to hold on to their inventory. Here's the thing that I see with this, and I've sought some wise counsel, is these open door companies like this have a lot of real estate on their inventory. But if they start lowering their prices in all these different areas, that affects the price of the houses, right? So we're in a dangerous place right now in the real estate market, the crypto market, your 401k that's stacked in the stock market. Assets are going to come collapsing down. The great news is it's time to get wealthy. Bear markets is when you get wealthy. Bull markets is when people get poor. Okay. It says, is the real estate market slowing down? What to expect in 2023 by numbers? They break it down. With persistent height rates from the Fed, there'll be widespread fears in the economy will enter a recession. The rate hikes with the overall economy uncertainty have brought mortgages demand down. Existing home sales dropped for the 9th straight month, 5.9% in October. That was last month. As potential home buyers struggle with affordability. That's what it's going to come down to, is affordability, right? So if you can afford a home, then you're in a really, really good position, okay? Analysts at Redfin predicted the median home price will drop 4% early 2023 to $368,000. This isn't even close to the real estate crash, but it is a sign that housing prices growth may stabilize. That's just the first quarter, guys. If our countries, EU, China, and America go into a tailspin and a full recession, we're in a recession now, but a massive recession, everything's going to pull back. Nothing's going to be exempt, okay? So this is an interesting dynamic. These iBuyer pump the brakes in response to housing market uncertainty. So there's all these iBuyers, there's these, these open door, all these companies, they had these models that worked really well in a low interest rate, high printing money environment. But when the brakes get slammed on, these things don't work anymore. And this is something that I showed you guys. This was last year, July 18th. So this was 75% of middle-class households say their income is falling behind the cost of living. That was in July 2022. So you're going to start to see with the Fed's funds rate just skyrocketing. Okay. He told us it's not going to slow it down. They're going to use all their tools in their tool belt to bring inflation down to 2%. Here's what's happening. They're moving us into a new monetary system. I'm going to repeat the same things over and over again. Okay. They're going to move us into a central bank digital currency. They're going to start moving money at the speed of light. They need liquidity. We're in a massive liquidity crisis and debt bubble. Okay. Highly recommend you start reading Ray Dalio's books. Okay, I'm rereading The Debt Crisis right now. So if you understand that debt can be a good monetary system if it's managed properly. It's the ability to service the debt. Okay, so if debt is put into the system and it's used, and what it's used for has the ability to service that debt, pay for the debt, and profit, you're good. But we're not in that position anymore. America's at 124% debt to income ratio. We're negative now. Okay. He's telling us our GDP growth is completely stopped. Our production has stopped, right? Unemployment is going to go through the roof now because if there's no credit in the system, there's no salaries in the system. We are in a debt-based system. Every dollar equals someone's salary. So if people aren't lending, people are not getting paid. If people aren't getting paid, people aren't buying groceries. If people aren't buying groceries, you have to lay off more people. If people are not getting paid, people are not buying houses. Therefore, you have to lay off a construction worker. Then that construction worker is not paying their car payment, and then they're not going to the grocery store, and then you need less clerks, and it starts this vicious cycle. It's going to be worse than the Great Depression, in my opinion. Here's the great news. This is your opportunity to become very, very wealthy because asset prices are going to come collapsing down, and you'll be able to buy them at a very, very low price. And what happens is what people do is they don't listen, and they wait till the bull market, and they start buying when the prices are high. Like everybody bought houses when they thought the market was going to keep going. They bought houses when the price was high. I'm going to stay patient till about Q3 to watch what happens. When they start coming down 20 to 30%, I'm going to get in. Okay. Always buy when it's low. Okay. You sell profits and secure it when it's high. Very simple strategies. Intelligent investor. You don't jump in, you don't jump out. That's what crypto created a lot. And I love cryptocurrency, but it created a lot of really poor investment behaviors because people got rich quick and they all got wrecked quick. That's why we stayed calm in our Warrior Academy. We had the best year we've ever had in 2022. It was a year of growth, a year of learning, a year of understanding, getting down into our principles. What are our principles? Right? And 2023 is going to be the best year of our life because we prepared for this asset bubble that was about to collapse, and we're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to deploy capital. We're ready to build wealth and generational wealth. And family, I was on my mom's couch 3.5 years ago. I just completely rewired my subconscious mind. I realized I was indoctrinated to poverty. I learned how billionaires and multimillionaires work. They do the opposite of everything we do. When everybody's celebrating, they're selling. When everybody is crying, they're buying. That was kind of cool. Crying, they're buying. Anyways, so I'd highly recommend you jump into the 3T Warrior Academy. You can get it now for 7 days for free. As the economy starts to come down, we're allowing people the opportunity to check it out for 7 days. After 7 days, you can jump right into the academy and you can get all the resources we provide you. The private coaching program, I'll have the link down below. I'm very, very honored. I'm kind of humbled by this. We've had we're sitting at, as of yesterday, over 200 applications. In the next 10 days, we have over 33 appointments for only 20 spots. So 33 people qualified, and we only have 20 spots. But I would highly still recommend, if you're interested in private coaching with me, at least go through the interview process or try to get in the interview process. We're going to create a waiting list for the next program. So I'm very humbled by that, by the way. As of today, we'll probably have close to 200 or 250 applications. So thank you. Humbled. I'm grateful. But the reason why it's working is because I'm ready to privately coach people. I only put it out there when I was totally ready to privately coach. So we have the Warrior Academy. We have the private coaching. That's all down below. And then our X Royalty launches on January 11th, 2023, next week. And you can be part of history with us as well. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I love you. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.